both places right before we actually start the show.
Can we swear?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Is there a dump button?
So now if you find Might Be Brews on Facebook, you would see us on there, and you could share it out to your own thing if you wanted to. So let's look for. Let's share it out. Hey, if anybody out there in the internet world, if you can hear us, if you've got good audio, please give us a thumbs up. Let us know that we're coming through on you.
How do you do this stuff? All I hear is Lambda. I already told him to shut up. There we go.
That's us.
Perfect. I think I shared it.
You can watch us watching us. Being us.
Watching me, watching you.
Also, so you guys know, we have an interactive chat that goes on. So somebody might pop up a question or a comment, and we'll pop it up on screen. And
Who's out there? Who's on? Can you guys hear us? Do we sound good?
Yeah.
Do we sound like crap? Anybody?
You know how it shows.
who's that? Is that coming from your phone? I'm going to turn that down or pause it.
You know how to shut it?
I shared it to mine. I don't know how to share it to Suburban.
Is that an iPhone?
I don't know, man. I had too much to drink already. So it's been a long Friday.
I know. I thought the same thing on Tuesday.
You know what's crazy? Like when you eat tacos on a Wednesday, it throws off your whole
Everything.
week. Like
We follow Taco Tuesday to a T in our house.
yeah.
We've got people watching. If you guys are getting audio, give us a thumbs up. Let us know that it's coming across the internets.
We're going to get a couple of them.
Which one's that?
Fest.
I should have guessed that. I got the color. I see you in the chat. I don't see anybody else in there yet.
There's people.
Yeah, I see there's people watching, but I don't see Fish or anybody in there yet. I think we'll be all right.
Should we get it cranking?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to record.
Does it matter which one's first?
No, just go for it. Hit the music.
The following is a Just Green production brought to you by the Mighty News Network.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Might Be Brews, episode 63, the podcast where we explore the people, places, and brews of the craft beer world. My name is John. With me, as always, Mr. Steve. How you doing tonight?
I think people are going to heckle us this episode, and I'm ready for action.
Are you?
I'm ready to throw it
I
back.
feel all kinds of energy coming from over there.
Let's get after
Heckling action is happening. We've got some very special guests. Obviously, we are recording on site. You can hear the background noise. You can see us on Facebook and YouTube. We are in beautiful Honeybrook, Pennsylvania at Suburban Brewing Company. What's the official name? Is that right?
322 tap rooms we're at today.
Yes, we are at 322 Tap Room, which I want to get into that. But we've got Eric. Eric, how you doing?
Awesome, man. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you so much for being here. And Corey, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for coming out.
So, one of the first things I want to get into is when I wanted to reach out to you guys to be on the show, right? Mr. Steve was like, we got to talk to Suburban. And I looked you guys up on Google, and I wasn't happy with the Google results. It just came back immediately and was like temporarily closed. I was like, maybe they're closed. And then a little bit of digging, I found 322 Tap Room and things like that. But you know, I don't know if we should dive right into that. But why don't you tell us about this location here that we're at, 322 Tap Room, when it opened, and what you guys are doing here?
Well, we outgrew the other place.
Okay.
It's time to move out of town, down the road, a little bit
Yep.
closer to civilization.
Sure.
We started moving back east a little bit.
Yeah.
So you guys used to be at the corner of Route 10 and 322, basically?
We're at the traffic light.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
the traffic light. That's
In
always
town.
a good
Yeah.
indicator of where you're at.
It probably was a 4-way stop sign at one point, but
How far is it? How many miles from there? Is this 4 or 5 miles, right?
4.5.
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of crazy how much different it is on this side of town. Just how much closer you are to things, how much more traffic and things like that, probably.
it went from like Mars to like the moon. You know, like
Sure.
we were on Mars and now we're on the moon. Like, it's only 4 miles, but
Yeah.
people will come.
Yeah. Being right on 322 is killer.
different.
Like at the old spot, we're behind the M&T Bank. So, but the whole thing with the Google and seeing that we're temporarily closed, that was at the time we had 2 different social media pages, 2 different.
Yep.
So we opened this as the 322 Tap Room. So we're trying to get people to follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. The Suburban Brewing Co. So,
Sure.
but that's been the effort. So, but when people see us out and about and like on our cans, with some of the previous releases, it was just 322 or sorry, Suburban Brewing.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
but we thought we could keep both open,
Yeah.
but you know we can't
Sure.
for a couple different reasons. But so we're here now, and
Gotcha.
that old spot is closing effective November 4th.
Okay.
We're
Gotcha.
locking it up. We're on the bigger and better things. That place is a little bit hidden.
Yeah.
We love it. It was our clubhouse. I loved
It was great.
built it
for
with
years.
our bare hands. And we painted it. And it was a lot of stuff a lot of love went into that place. But
Sure.
We grew the brand there. I mean, it was a cool spot.
it was our test batch. You know, we had a 1-barrel system there,
Yeah.
and we brewed a shitload of beer on 1 barrel. And that's what set us apart from a lot of these other breweries that pop up with a 10-barrel or a 15 or whatever barrel. We did
Right.
one. We perfected our beer, and then we decided to grow. And if it didn't work there in the middle of nowhere, it wasn't going to work anywhere.
Sure.
So we're like, let's get the beer dialed in. Let's make sure the beer's awesome.
Yep.
Once the beer's great, we're going to expand.
Sure.
And that's been our mentality. Like, you know, let's make sure we have great products.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these other guys, they open up a 15-barrel, and you're their guinea pig.
Right.
Here's our first beer we ever brewed ever. And you're going to drink it, and you're going to critique it, and you're going to not like it. Or like it.
A lot harder to throw it away when there's that much
Right.
to throw away too, right?
We've dumped 0 batches here.
Yeah.
And that's because we dialed it in there.
Yeah. Back over there.
And now it's time for growth. And,
Yep.
and we're doing great. You know, it's, so we're really happy with the product. So we're doing bigger batches when we're canning beer, and we're kicking ass.
That's awesome.
So speaking of the beer, and as we talk about the beer, you guys can get a little bit closer to the mic. It'll just get right all up in there. We're sipping on the Fest beer first, and it's Oktoberfest. It's that time of year, and this is hitting the spot for me. It's got that little bit of that Mars and sweetness to it.
Yep.
It dries out at the end. It's a really nice beer for the Oktoberfest that you might be going to over the weekends here.
Yeah, for sure. I love this thing. I had it with dinner earlier, and I don't know. I just think it's fantastic. It's not too bitter. It's very smooth and has a nice sweetness to it all the way through, but it's not too sweet either. So I don't know. I think it's like right down the middle. Just a fantastic fantastic beer.
Yeah, that's our goal, is just to make beers, no matter what style, that are extremely drinkable. So
Yeah.
you have more than one, except our pumpkin beer. But I think actually that you might be able to have two.
Nice.
But yeah, we just kind of fashion the recipes after some like stuff that we like to drink. We've been drinking a long time, so
Right, yeah.
I think we're professionals. What they say, like after 10,000 hours, you are a master at your whatever
Sure. Yep.
you're doing.
I've heard the same.
I think we've logged probably 20,000 hours of drinking and brewing and all that other good stuff.
So we're at 63 episodes.
Yeah.
At about an hour each. So we're at about 63 hours of podcasting.
Yeah.
So we got a long time.
Yeah, we got a long ways to go.
We got a long ways to go.
Unfortunately, I don't drink anymore, or any less.
You've given
Yeah.
up.
I'll
Only
drink
less.
to that. I'll
Nice.
drink to that.
I was noticing that as we were eating dinner, you guys have the one big stout. You got a 10% stout on there, but everything else is 7 or below. So it lets you have more than one and not feel like you're gonna be a wreck for the next 2 days at work.
The monk's coming, right?
The monk, but Awesome Larry's 9% or 9.1. But we're out here, so it's not like we're in a town where people can walk easily. Not anymore, especially in Honeybrook, where we had some people who could walk to the tap room. But we're right here on 322,
Yeah.
so not too many people can walk here. But
You want to make sure everybody gets home okay and they're not.
ultimately comes back then too.
Yeah, for sure.
But we're doing the canned beers, so they can take those home, and obviously the crowlers. So, but there'll be some bigger beers coming down the pike. So we're plotting out our brew schedule through the end of the year and then through next year. And
Nice.
so there'll be some big stuff coming.
All right. Well, what I'd like to do is let's go like in the Wayback Machine. Let's kind of go way back before Suburban. I want to know a little bit about each of your backgrounds and how you guys think you ended up here together. All right. So like Corey, for example, if I understand correctly, you owned a homebrew shop, right?
Yeah.
So take us through, the evolution of, what it was like owning and running a homebrew shop, how you're dealing with customers and things like that, to eventually becoming a head brewer and owning a brewery as well.
Yeah, I guess the whole thing started when I was in college. So when I was in college at Westchester, I got a job at a brew on premise in Berwyn back in like the late 90s. So before I even homebrewed, that was my first job, and I was a beer coach.
Okay.
So walking people through the steps of brewing and doing all the behind the scenes work. So that's how I got into brewing and the brewing process. And then I moved out to Kansas City to help that company open up a brewery out there, and actually help with the construction, and then open it up, and then was the lead brewer out there. And we had our beer on tap, and we bottled and kegged it, and we had it on tap at Arrowhead and Kauffman Stadium out in Kansas City. So that was a great experience, being 22, 23 years old, having the keys to the brewery and being that guy. So
Nice.
I kind of peaked at the early 20s. And then I moved back. Right? I'm not the only one then. All right. And then I came back, the company went under, and to speed it up, I started homebrewing. So after 2 years of working at a brewery, I started homebrewing, and I got a corporate job and did that for 15, 16 years. Got the shits of that. And ultimately I wanted to open my own brewery, so I realized there's a lot of capital, a lot of, you needed people you can trust, more than one or two, to actually open a brewery. And I didn't have that. So, I wanted to do the next best thing, and that was open a homebrew shop.
Nice.
So I did that for 4 years, and ultimately that's how I met Eric. And then it kind of got me in the game, and, we hooked up, and, then we kind of took it from there. Sold Eric some brewing equipment, and we brewed together in his driveway, and we crafted the China Cat Kolsch, which we have in cans right now. And I forget what the other beer was. Sunshine. Here comes Sunshine. And then talked about it. Eric was out here in Honeybrook and said I wanted to open a brewery out here and test the market. And I said, sign me up, man, because ultimately that's what I wanted to do. And didn't want to be in retail for long, because it was only me. So I was working, 7 days a week.
Right.
doing that stuff.
Well, yeah, I'm kind of curious. I don't know if I've ever talked to somebody that like works at or owns a homebrew shop. What is that like? Because I can only imagine you probably more than most businesses have a pretty intimate relationship with your customers.
Yeah.
I can just imagine that there's a lot of dialogue, a lot of help, a lot of things going on between you and your customers more than just a restaurant or a bar or a Wawa. The conversations you're having with the customers and the level of service you're giving them is probably a lot different.
It was awesome. It was really cool because you did get to be personal with people and help them out, and it was really cool to see when somebody would come in and buy their starter kit.
Yep.
And then 4 years later they were buying all grain ingredients, and
Sure.
kind of through that process of getting into the hobby and just brewing beer. And then it was cool, and especially at the personal level, people would come in. So it was funny, like there are a handful of guys who are like single, and then they're dating, and then next thing you know they're engaged, and then they get married, and then you see less of them, and then they come back. Right, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, right.
But that was it.
But then after a year or two, they
like, what is
come
this
back
beer
in with their little kid or something
Sure.
like that. But outside of that, it was cool helping people kind of connect the dots on the brewing kind of puzzle sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, were you like a guinea pig too? Like, did everybody come back and be like, I bought these ingredients from you, 2 weeks later, they come back with a growler or a can, like, try this. What do you think? How'd I do?
Yeah, most of them were good experiences.
They come to the shop. I mean, that's what's great. I'd go to his shop, and they'd all come back and bring their samples.
And like
was
Fridays
cool.
were the hangout day.
Yeah.
I had a
Oh, that's
Beermeister, and I tried to always have
brew something,
like
or
showed
somebody
off.
would bring something in.
Yep.
It was fun.
Oh, that sounds
different
amazing.
ingredients
Yeah.
and kind of showcase
That's what
it.
it's the
And
best.
Fridays were great. Fridays and Saturdays and really Sundays were great. People,
had the
because
homebrew
it was
club
very
guys
social,
around.
and to an extent it kind of got in the way because I was the only person there. So we're trying to be social and drink, and sample stuff, like, and it's just tough juggling a couple balls at the same time. But no, it was really great, and I kind of missed that aspect. And still stay in touch with some of the customers who are in the homebrew club or who come here or local, that kind of stuff. So it was a lot of fun. I mean, there's such a communal and social aspect of any homebrew shop that you don't get when you buy your stuff online. So that's why you should ultimately, support local small businesses, small homebrew shops, Artisan, Keystone, and I think they might be the only ones who are left.
Wow.
I think Weekney's
You
gone.
can get it off of Amazon easily.
Yeah, right.
You're not going to be able to go in and talk and have that.
Right.
Amazon's not going to give you like, hey, I oversparged or this, my gravity's this or whatever. That's what's great about going to your homebrew shop. Like, he was the guru. You go there and they say, hey, I did this, that, and another thing, and it didn't work. What do you suggest?
Yeah.
And you can't get that from Amazon.
Sure.
And guess what? If people keep buying it because it's $1 cheaper off of Amazon, we might not.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's the mom and pop kind of fight.
Support
Yeah,
your
for
local.
sure. Corey, I'm impressed. You've got a natural radio voice, I feel like.
Yeah, I was
coming across
communication
really well.
major at West Chester.
And he's also reminded me of Bert Kreischer a little bit.
I've got to step up
Looks
my
like a little
voice
Bert
game.
Kreischer.
Oh, you know what? My aunt says that too.
What? Bert Kreischer?
Yeah.
Or the voice?
Take
Yeah.
off
Doesn't
your
look like
shirt.
a little,
That's
that's
what
what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Just take your shirt off right away.
You're the machine.
Oh no. I was thinking
my voice.
So Eric, let's get your background a little bit. From what I understand, you are the chef restaurateur. So why don't you tell us a little bit of your road that ended you up here?
Well, I used to flip Big Macs. No, it started. I went to Johnson Wales, and I cooked all my life. It's what I did. At home I'd cook and fool around with food, and my mother always talked to me about I came home and made like a cake one day while I came home from school. And I was like, I was never a book guy. I was never a math guy.
Yep.
I like to do stuff that I could say, hey, I made that and I'm proud of it.
Yeah, like instant gratification and
just like to share, like it's an art. I'd say, it's like, I wish I could paint a picture and be like, oh, I'm an artist.
Yeah,
But
right.
I'm not. I
Yeah.
can barely write my name.
Me too.
You know, it's like it looks like chicken scratch.
Yep.
But when it comes to like food and hospitality, which I love, which has been hard to do right now in this pandemic, but basically my background, I cooked a lot of places. I went through all culinary school up in New England, and lived on Cape Cod, came down back here, kind of conquered all the stuff, the big places around here in Chester County. I did Doylestown Inn. I did the Gables Jazz Ford and all these places that used to be like the iconic places around here.
Would you say like fine dining?
They were,
Yeah,
in that
okay.
day, yeah. I mean, it was tuxedos, tableside
Yeah, sure.
Caesars, and cherry jubilees, omelets, and,
Right.
whatever. And like, so I was like, all right, well, I did this, so I kind of explored it. Moved down to Naples, Florida, did that kind of thing. And lived in Las Vegas, cooked in Las Vegas. I came back this way, worked at Jersey Shore, and I was a partner at White Dog Cafe for 5 years. I was a private chef for a movie director around here.
Okay.
A lot of people know.
Yeah.
Just cooked all over ever I could.
That in itself could probably be a whole podcast. Like that just sounds like so much
there's
fun.
Definitely some stories.
Like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like the first thing that comes to mind is just like when you watch those cooking shows or like an Anthony Bourdain or something like that. Just like going to all these places and being in these kitchens with these people and learning their story and just all of that. I mean, it sounds fantastic. So it sounds like you've got the training and the resume to back it up. When did you start doing things for yourself?
After I left White Dog, I was a private chef. We all know it's for Night Channel. So I did a lot of that stuff and the movie sets and stuff. But I kind of got in trouble for saying this before, but I said, this is where chefs go to retire. Like I was
Sure.
a private chef.
Yeah.
I was like 30 years old. I was like, I'm cooking for 5 people.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, what am I going to do the rest of the day?
Yeah, right.
I didn't go to college. I didn't do this for the cook for 5 people.
Sure.
So then I just took on more challenges, and I did the Wybrook Farm out here where we raised our animals and butchered all our animals on site. And, so
that's amazing in itself. Just, I can't imagine the process that goes into all that.
Yeah. So then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it by myself. And I did Suburban in Exton. And when I came to Exton, I tried to follow some of my beliefs that I learned from just like my journey of being a chef. And I took a little bit of everything from Wybrook, from White Dog, where I learned a lot from Judy Wicks, who's like a pioneer of farm-to-table cuisine. So she was doing the farm-to-table stuff before it was cool.
Right.
And so we did that. So I was like, so that was easy. The food part was easy. I was like, okay, I'll buy local. I get I still do. I get a half a steer every month, if not 2, and pigs and everything else. But then I said, well, when I was at White Dog, we did a 90-mile beer venue. So everything had to be within 90 miles.
Nice. Okay.
So I changed that from 90 miles on my own, because now I'm on my own. I want to change it just to Pennsylvania.
Sure.
So we did Pennsylvania beers, and because now there's so many great breweries,
So many.
Why not?
For sure.
So I have 24 drafts at the Exton location, and we had 24 beers on draft. And they were all Pennsylvania drafts, but they were the smaller Pennsylvania drafts. There's some big Pennsylvania guys that I'm very good friends with that I just didn't put on, because they didn't need a leg up. The little guys need a leg up. So I put the smallest breweries I knew on draft. Since that happened, they all kind of they're doing okay now. So when we're doing it, we looked at the beer program, and I looked at the liquor program. I said, well, you know what? Why can't we just do Pennsylvania liquors too? And I have a full liquor license, so it might have shot me in the foot for the beginning, the first 4 years.
Right,
I've only served Pennsylvania liquor and Pennsylvania beer.
Yep.
I drew the line at wine, but people would come in like, I want a Grey Goose and tonic or something.
Yeah.
I don't have Grey Goose.
Yeah.
Why don't I try Stateside or Boardroom or
Sure.
whatever, some
Sure.
other small batch distillery.
Yep.
And it worked. For some people, other people like, we're out of here. We're going next door because I want my martini with Grey Goose. So it's like, it was hard.
Well, I love that place. How do you how did you choose that location in Exton?
It was a hard decision. It was like, I said no a couple of times.
Yeah.
They asked me to keep coming, and it was a hard decision. It's off the beaten path.
It is, but once you get back
so
there,
hidden.
it's awesome. It's such a cool place.
Once you get back there, it's awesome.
Once you find it, you're like, wow, this is a gem.
That's the key.
Yep.
So it's like, once you find us, you're going to love us. And if you understand what that community is about and how big it can be and the events we have, the concerts we have.
The concerts are amazing.
And
they're so cool there.
We have art
Farmers
shows,
market, all that
farmers
stuff.
market.
Movies.
It's a hidden
Yep.
gem,
And for the people out there, if you're unfamiliar, Suburban is in Eagle View. The easiest way I always tell people is go like you're going to get on the turnpike, but don't get on the turnpike, then take a left.
The next light.
And you're
right?
back there.
To that,
and
to the Clover Loop.
of course, Suburban's back there. There's a lot of different shops. My kids love that bookshop that's behind you guys. They always pay
man.
to go to that bookshop.
That
It's a nice
bookshop, it's
local
probably
bookshop.
the nicest bookshop. It's like an artisan bookshop. It's like Harry Potter's. Like
If you don't want to go to the Barnes and Nobles of the world, you want to support a local bookshop. That's a great place to go.
Yeah.
But there's all these apartments there, and there's this little field right out in front where the farmers markets are great. I would go up there and get Brandywine Valley bread before Fran opened up his shop in Downingtown. They had this dude selling this bourbon maple syrup.
Yeah.
That was
fantastic.
like
we featured that on our menu many
Oh,
times.
yeah?
it was like
They do a rum one too.
it's expensive.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell the wife what I spent on it, but it was so
It's like
good.
$21.
Yeah. Dude, I just said I don't want to tell my wife how much I spent on it.
They'll
But
edit
it's
that out.
so good. It's so tasty. But it's just a great little community. There's a couple other restaurants there. And now that you guys have kind of taken over some of the parking spaces and you can sit outside.
Yeah.
We sit outside there with our dog, and it's just such a great scene up there.
The whole beer garden side is incredible.
Well, that's how it all started. Honestly, we were one of the first beer gardens. I mean, we won the best beer garden in 2017 Philly Magazine because there was the whole thing came apart. There was urban beer gardens.
Yep.
So that's like, let's make a suburban beer garden, and it was like that's how it kind of came to be. I was like, it was a big thing in the city. There was no beer gardens, and we were the first one to do it. And I wanted to be Pennsylvania, because we have so much great beer in Pennsylvania. So that's how it started. And then we started brewing beer with Corey, and he makes fucking awesome beer. So it was a no-brainer, and we just started making great beer.
So I got a question. So you're a chef. I like to cook at home. I'm by no means a chef, but I like to cook at home. My wife is the baker. How do you think about food in relation to beer? Because to me, the beer is the baker. You have your recipe. You know what you want to do going in.
Yes.
It's a lot of
beer's so baking.
Yeah.
So
You can't
as
do
a
a
chef,
handful.
how do you
That's
taste
why I
and
needed
throw that
salt.
guy?
That's
Yeah,
exactly
That's
why
what
I
you
need
did.
him.
Okay.
Because I'm a chef. I'm like a little bit of this, a little
Taste.
bit of
Taste.
that. We were sitting in the garage and Corey's like, at this exact moment, it's like, it's got to boil for an hour and 43 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, hold on, we got to set a timer.
Well,
like,
yeah,
what the
right?
fuck?
It's funny because like when I started home brewing, it was more of I would weigh things like by eye. and things would be. But you can do that when you're home brewing.
Sure, yeah.
They always talk about the art and science of brewing, right? So that's more of the art. It's the eyeball, and that's why I think cooking is an art. Obviously there's a science involved with it, just like brewing, but I think there's an art, and I think that's what makes certain chefs, cooks, kind of stand out because
Sure.
they embrace more of the art too. There's, you can do the book part. So like with brewing, and especially at the commercial level, things do have to be repeatable, and
you got to have the consistency, right? You got to put
you got to be
the
consistent.
same beer out every time.
Especially now,
It's crazy.
we're canning
I
and
would never be
packaging
able to
stuff,
do that.
and
Chef wise, I can, but
which
but
is
still, I
it's
hear
still
you.
like
But-
they ask me for recipes. I'm like, it's a kitchen spoon of this.
yeah.
Right, yeah.
And they're like, what's a kitchen spoon? I'm like, the round one. Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, a
Whatever one
kitchen
you got in the
spoon.
Yeah,
kitchen.
right?
My wife gets so mad at me because I never follow. My recipe is getting 6 different recipes and seeing what I like from each of them and just throwing it all together.
Exactly.
She's like, but I want to make it. I'm like, yeah, sorry.
That's like the spirit of homebrewing. It's like anything can happen. You can kind of stumble on it, but if you have to make it again, do you remember how you did that chili when you just kind of had the stuff laying around the house, or you kind of called an audible and you did a few things, and so. But that's fun. That's the fun stuff, and that's what we try to incorporate too with our beers. Like we have our flagships, but then we want to have some fun beers, and we want to do things differently. We want to experiment. And I think that's the whole spirit of homebrewing, and ultimately, I think that's the spirit of brewing in general, especially at the smaller, craft level. There's that experimentation. There's that you're not tied to a certain thing like Yingling Lager, Rolling Rock, or Miller Lite, or whatever, Sam Adams. Like you don't have to churn that out so the people in California taste the same beer as the people in New Hampshire or whatever. So, and we do have that flexibility to kind of doesn't turn out exactly double dry hops, whatever, or it's the imperial version of whatever.
Yeah, right.
So when I look at your tap list, I see a very diverse tap list. I know we were mentioning it earlier.
Yeah.
Not many places have a cream ale on. You guys have a cream ale, a German wheat on, the Fest beer, the Keller beer, the Kolsch, porter, stout. It's not your 7 different IPAs and one other beer.
Right.
How do you, as a brewer, balance? And I shouldn't say that as a brewer. I should say as a brewer / business owner, balance what you're putting on the menu. I know your cream ale isn't gonna make people bust down the doors and sell cases after cases of them, but I know as a brewer you want that guy that says, wow, you guys got a cream ale on,
Right.
I gotta try that. How do you balance that? What do you think of that?
And that's probably one of the biggest challenges is looking at styles. I love beer. I love drinking beer. I love going places and drinking beer. I'm not a big flight guy, so if I go to a place, I don't get flights. I order smaller pours, 10 ounce, or maybe I drink 4 16 ounce.
Right, sure.
And that's my flight. But I like seeing variety, and I like seeing execution, and I like if I did get flights, and when I put myself in the consumer side, like I want to see potentially 4 different beers lined up next to each other. I don't want like where it's IPA dominated, where it's like 4 beers that look exactly the same and kind of taste relatively the same. So we like that, but we also build up an interesting kind of expectation from the tap room in Honeybrook, where people love like the Scottish ale, or they like obviously some of the lager type beers where they're not hop driven, but just from a brewing perspective, on a lot of different levels, one from a cost, one from maintaining tap lines, being always filled. We like to have beers that kind of get kicked in at different times.
Sure.
Because as we're brewing, we can only brew so many times a week.
Yeah.
But if all of our beers were IPAs and then all 4 say kicked, then 4 out of 12 beers we need to replace. And the way we brew diverse. It just doesn't have that output coming. So we got to kind of stagger it. We also have to stagger costs. We have to stagger styles and stagger interest level of myself, the brewer, and Justin, the other brewer. So like there's a lot of plates spinning where it comes into play on what we have on the menu. And
Sure.
we do want to have stuff maybe that differs from other breweries. We want to have kind of some beers that get the draw, because we know that like the craft beer drinker is pretty promiscuous and they want new things. They want new beers. They want new styles. They want new. So we're thinking about having a brown ale coming up, and all right, well, brown ale might sell for a little while, but if you do a brown ale with cocoa nibs, or if you do a brown ale with whatever, that might sell even a little better. And
Yep.
it might just keep people kind of chipping away at that inventory. So from a business perspective, there's different things. From a brewer's perspective, there's a different outlook on what we're brewing and how often and the style. So there's a lot of kind of like threads to the rope,
sure.
that we're looking at. So I mean, it's not an easy way to come up with beers. You'd think it would be, but we have 12 beers on tap. We have 6 beers in cans. We're going to bring in 4 more taps. So how do we make sure that there's beer in the pipeline as soon as we bring in 4 new taps? So it's a fun challenge. I mean, there's a lot to it, just beyond kind of the styles.
Do you think the IPA heavy fad might be a tough word, explosion, the IPA craze is starting to back off a little bit? I personally think it does, but I don't know if sales and breweries are seeing the same thing I'm seeing.
I think there might be. I think there could be some like people getting IPA'd out. I think the wave might have crested, and I think there's going to be, especially breweries who really do IPAs really well, who that's in their wheelhouse. They'll have their audience, but I think
I don't think they're going away.
I really
no, for
think-
sure.
Just at the restaurant, I mean, like we sell probably 4 to 1 IPA,
Yep.
and I don't see people like what they like, and it's and the brewery aspect. I think that people judge you by your IPA, and that's what's kind of weird about it.
Well,
Like,
it's kind of like if you looked at Untappd ratings, if you look at IPAs, that's kind of what drives the bulk of the Untappd rating. So if you look at breweries who are
Put,
IPA
like, brown ale
heavy,
up
they
or
may
something.
be a little higher on Untappd, if that's kind of what you're measuring. I don't know anything on.
I judge you by your lager.
Then and that's
What I do.
Yeah, but you're probably somewhat of the minority.
you're the
But
1%.
we don't
Yeah.
judge ourselves by Untappd. We judge ourselves
No, you
by obviously the bottom line.
Sure. Yeah.
When
And,
somebody says,
customer comments,
"Oh, that's a
and
really good
that kind of
lager,"
stuff.
3.0.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. It's just like what sells. Like you said, it's still bottom line is when you look into the bottom line.
Yeah.
The IPAs sold this much,
Yep.
and that sold this much. IPAs brought in $10,000 this month, and lager brought in $1,000.
Sure.
So it's like, what are we gonna do? We're
Yeah.
gonna brew another IPA.
There's
Yeah.
room for everything.
But guess what?
I
I think our IPAs are great. I mean, like,
Yeah, they're fantastic. But yeah, it is one of those things where I
but
always
I'm
wonder.
kind of getting over them. Like,
Sure.
I mean,
I think a lot of
like
people
West
are.
Coast.
I like to hope that through mediums like this, the podcast, and people getting to, that get excited or get into craft beer where they have that great hazy IPA and go, wow, maybe I do like craft beer, that the more they drink, eventually they'll say, well, let me try that cream ale. Let me try that dry hop Pilsner.
Yeah.
I like dry hop IPAs.
Our
Let me
cream
try
ale
that.
has turned
and see
so
what,
many
you know.
heads these days.
Sure.
They're like, I don't like Genesee. I'm like, it's not Genesee.
Yeah.
Right.
Stop.
That's all anybody knows.
Yeah.
Did you guys have the cream ale on?
We
No.
haven't had
Oh
the
my
cream
god,
ale
is it on?
Yeah, it's up here.
It's ridiculous.
But one of the things, like, at the tap room and looking at the numbers every week, every month, the Kolsch was our biggest seller. And then probably a year, 18 months in, our 322 Pale Ale, which is lower ABV but hoppier and very approachable pale ale, hazy, ended up being our number one bestseller. So it was really cool. And
so maybe we molded them.
yeah, well, I mean, we're
hops.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think, getting feedback from Mike, the bartender here, who's been with us since day one, and just seeing that.
Shout out to Mike.
Yeah.
Hey, what up, Mike?
Medina.
Brunner?
And
That wasn't Mike over here earlier, was it?
no,
Okay.
no, we don't know that guy's name. He used to work here.
He used to work. He got scolded.
Is he on camera? I don't
He's
know.
listening.
He's off the-
I know you're listening to the parking lot.
Justin.
So what's it like, when you're a homebrew guy, you start doing a 1-barrel system, and now tell us about like the system that you're on now and what it's like, kind of transitioning to a bigger scale and being able to do more.
A lot more cleaning.
Yeah.
No, it was
A lot more volume. I like it.
Yeah. It's funny, the
I love
process takes the same amount of time. It's just the yield is greater.
Sure.
But there is a lot more cleaning, and prep, and that's the biggest thing, I think, for everybody who's like looking to go to pro. Like majority of, I don't say majority, but good amount of home brewers always have that dream of going pro. And
Yeah. Sure.
brewing beer is the easiest part of being a part of a brewery,
Sure.
but there is 98% more stuff beyond just brewing.
Yeah,
Numbers.
I can't imagine. Yeah,
Yeah.
numbers, ordering stuff.
But scheduling,
Having-
lining
yeah,
things
yeah.
up,
Shit, you
consistency, the quality, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, jumping from, I don't know, like I was brewing at home I think it was a half barrel system.
Okay.
And then jumping up to a 1-barrel. It wasn't that, you just have to get used to the equipment. So
Yep.
going from like a direct fire propane outdoor system to indoor electric, to
Sure.
get used to that. And then just going from 1-barrel to 10-barrel is kind of the same. I mean, things kind of scaled up to an extent,
Sure.
very, similarly, but you had to dial certain things in. But
Yeah.
like,
Makes sense.
like no beers were dumped. Maybe they didn't come out exactly how we wanted them to, but
Yep.
we took calculated risks on the styles that we brewed the first couple until we dialed everything in.
Nice.
And from there, it was great. So we actually, probably for the first 20 batches, were only half batches on our 10-barrel system. So we're brewing 5-barrel batches, and that was because we didn't have the tap room open up front here. So
Yeah.
we were kegging everything and then sending it over to our tap room in Honeybrook. But once we started opening up the tap room here, or we knew it was opening within 2 weeks, we started brewing 10-barrel batches, and then we started canning right away. So just kind of jumped right into it. So, I think we're always looking to tighten the screws and kind of look at our techniques and look at our ingredients and see if there's improvements we can be made. So I think there's no matter what beer we have, there's always an opportunity to improve that beer.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's awesome. I mean, it's really cool to hear like just how you guys, started at the bottom like that, worked your way up, getting fans with that small system, and then ending up here. Eric, I'm kind of curious from the restaurant standpoint. What I'm curious if there's much difference between a restaurant that is beer heavy to a brewery with a restaurant. What are the similarities or the differences? I mean,
Good question. Come on, Eric, now.
The American dream for me.
yeah,
That's what I'm trying to. So my theory is I want to sell beer to myself. It's like
well, yeah. I mean,
brewery, I
you've
wanna
got
sell beer to the
Yep.
to the restaurant.
you've got a customer right off the bat.
right.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
So sold.
Sure.
You know?
Yep.
From the beer restaurant
Or
version
a-
is kind of it's different than the usual. Like, you want to sell a bottle of wine or something to make to upsell somebody. Like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to sell you a steak. Can I give you a bottle of Pinot Noir or something like that? So there's a good profit in beer, but the beer business has been a little bit crazy. I mean, like, what we pay for beers now versus like the $35 keg of Miller Lite that you're used to.
Yeah, sure.
Like,
It's so different.
I'm buying kegs at $2, and up. I mean, there's some kegs that are $300,
Yeah.
$400. So
Crazy expensive.
my ideal is a 60-40 split, of beer and food. 60 would be beer.
Sure.
Because that's where the margins are supposed to be. But the margins now are like, who even knows now with all the restrictions and the COVID shit?
Yeah, right.
Now. So like
The way the costs are for the equipment,
like,
materials, and
Yeah. But you got to read the question.
yeah. Well, I mean, so think about it this way: is
Because I got lost.
back in the day, a brewery really wanted to be you wanted to put a lot of volume out.
Right.
You wanted to distribute, do all those things.
Right.
And nowadays, there's so much out there. Maybe a better model with better margin is to just have a good tap room and put them out there.
That is our druthers.
You
I mean,
gotta
if we
have
had our
food.
druthers, that's it. So it's like we want to invite you into our dojo to have fun, to drink our beer at the spot where it's made. One, because we can have our thumb on it a little bit, be like, okay, we know that this is how it's supposed to be served. It's served at the right temperature. The glasses are clean. The tap lines are clean.
Yeah.
And it's fresh beer.
Total control.
And when you start deviating from that, it's like we're going to really choose who has our beer.
Yeah.
And we give a couple kegs to here and there, and people that we trust that serve our beer properly.
Do a good job.
But and margin wise, honestly, to sell a beer here, if we get, it's like the you're not going to break down. It's going to be better margins at the tap versus selling kegs for $250 bucks or whatever, and then have to go have a sales rep, go chase your kegs down or whatever.
Yeah.
But not to say we won't do that. I mean,
Sure.
We got a little bit extra beer, so we might share the wealth, but we prefer people to come to our house and visit us, and this because we know we're going to do it right here.
Yeah.
And we hope to have maybe another one down the road, but who's just we'll see what happens.
So speaking of your house, what events you guys have coming up? I saw you guys have some music coming on the weekend. What else is happening here in the tap room that you guys have coming up in the next week or so?
Yeah, we're trying to do more music here on Friday and Saturday nights. We already had our Oktoberfest, which was a little sooner
We got one coming up the rest
September.
Yep.
But
Okay.
yeah, actually next weekend. This weekend we're going to be at Kennett for the beer fest.
Yep.
So will we.
We'll be there.
Awesome. Yeah.
I might be.
Yeah, we'll be tent number 36. And then the weekend after that, there's a big Oktoberfest over at
That's
the restaurant in Exton.
36.
Yeah.
My Spanish be different.
There you go. We're doing a lot of private parties here. We have an event on November 6th at Black Walnut Winery that hasn't been real public yet, so that's an inside scoop.
That's cool.
So it's going to be an outdoor kind of festival for the community there in Salisbury Township.
I don't want to sound like a meanie here. I thought they closed.
They closed, but another business bought it.
Okay.
So friends of ours through the Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, that's awesome.
Purchased it. Penrise Advisory. So they do financial stuff and stuff. But they really want to be community oriented.
They're great people.
Yep. Yeah. So we're going to be over there. So we have that. We're also working on a few other events kind of lined up coming up. So that's the goal, is really to have, especially as we kind of wind down through the holiday months,
Yep.
and then in the early winter and spring, kind of as things kind of bounce back.
Yeah,
sure. Have more events. So we're looking to some events here. I think we want to do some kind of Halloween thing here, maybe a trunk or treat. Just told you about that right now. So,
Or the other place.
yeah, but a trunk or treat
We could do that.
for the kids.
Oh, yeah.
for the kids.
For the kids.
And then maybe another blowout at the old spot. But yeah, no, we're looking. So it's kind of been tough. So we put our roots in the ground here on June 23rd at the new tap room.
Okay.
We are tight staffed, so we have a team who's really kind of overloaded, doing a lot of things. So we're not kind of in the exact position where we can kind of start really branching out and doing everything. But
We'd love to blow it out. We just don't have staff.
with that said, we want to kind of gear up for 2022
Yeah, sure.
and
Be ready for it.
come out the gate swinging. So I think as we kind of for the past 6 months, going
Keep
through,
honing that craft, get
Yep.
better and better every day,
get
and then
down, get our beer, get
Yep.
it in cans. So we've been canning every month, doing that stuff. So
We're super happy.
we have a plan of
with the
attack.
beer,
Yeah,
the food,
Yep.
the atmosphere.
the staff
We'd
has
love
been
to
great
have
here.
More staff.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
if,
your staff is
if
nice.
you guys want a job,
So
Info at suburbanbrewingco.com.
let's talk about the actual 322 tap room a little bit more, because we're upstairs right now, and this
We're
is
in a
such a cool
lounge.
spot.
Yeah.
These couches, the way
This
that
is the
they're
Tony Montana lounge.
yeah, this is very, very cool. So what was the
First
space
you get the
when you
beer.
got in here?
We built it.
Did you?
I drew this fucking thing on a napkin, especially this part.
Yeah,
I can actually show it to you.
that's yeah, it's
We have it
amazing.
framed. It's actually
So I at first I didn't realize this was up here, but
it wasn't supposed to be up.
there's a real nice bar. You
This
got
came
some
extra.
seating. There's some outdoor seating down there. So tell us a little bit more about what went into designing this place and
Dude.
laying it out.
this place is the footprint is 1,200 square feet. So we are jamming. I don't know.
The exact
no,
number of people
Yeah.
that we're supposed to have in
The
here.
proper-
exactly for the township
Quantity,
of Honeybrook.
Yeah, right.
No, but based on our architect and all that, like we were able to, and the codes within Honeybrook Township have this 600 square foot mezzanine level, which is a total addition above the bathrooms, above the kitchen that we had put in here. So, totally maximizing this footprint, which, this space was kind of a little bit of it wasn't our initial thought. So the initial thought was of the 3,000 square feet in the back of the brewery of this building. And we're going to have a big production area and then be able to put that beer in our tap room in Honeybrook downtown or at Suburban Restaurant. So
Sure.
kind of as we're looking at this property and it's brand new and we knew the landlords, Eric and Tracy, we knew that this space was open. So I think it was Eric's idea. He was like, hey, man, what do you think that we put a tap room up front? And it was small, but when we looked at Tracy's space next door, we felt like it was big.
Yeah,
And so we're like 1,200 square feet, no problem. We could put a bar in here. We can,
yeah.
And then bathroom in the kitchen.
and then things
Yeah.
kind of started kind of like, all right, well,
Turned
we're
into
going to put the food truck on
soggy-
outside. So we went through a lot of iterations of the floor plan, but ultimately we landed on this and we had the floor. So this isn't the end all be all for Suburban Brewing, like the tap room area, but
Right.
I think we're making the most out
we
of
made
this,
some cool
this
moves
spot.
out of this
I mean,
place. Like we had a lot
it's
of
unique.
audibles. I mean,
Yeah.
it was the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ugh.
But
Everything was through the roof. This mezzanine came phase 2. I looked at the bar and I said, shit, we're building a bar that nobody could sit at.
Yeah.
I was like, you're not allowed to sit at a bar.
that's the whole room.
Yeah.
And I'm paying like $130 a sheet for plywood. What the heck is
Yeah.
it, man? So
Yeah.
then we looked at, then we started I was like, well, if we put a garage on that side and we put a garage on this side,
Yeah.
now we have open air dining.
Yep. You're
Yeah.
al fresco.
Now we're at 10.
Yeah.
Now we're
Right.
at 10. So it's like
Bring it on.
game back on,
Yeah.
but it,
There's
you know,
room to put something on top of the kitchen. Make the second floor.
and then go, okay, well, that's 10 weeks out. And I was like, and piece of 4x4 is $1,000, and
yeah.
so it was like a lot of growing pains,
Yeah.
but it turned out great. I think I'm really proud of it.
I love this spot.
I think
It's
it's
a good spot.
really. I
It's a good
think it was a lot of lipstick on a pig. It was an empty shell that we just had to kind of figure out what we're gonna do with it and maximize the space.
Yeah,
you
sure.
know? And I don't know. This is what we came up with, so it's cool. I dig it. And I hope everybody else does. And
Speaking of Saturday at Kennett Brewfest, we got Jeff Norman, the Brewfest King, is in the chat. He's
cool.
He said he's excited to
Yeah.
have you guys.
Glad to have you guys.
yeah, right on.
Jeff, if you're still there, I don't know if you guys have tickets still available.
Yeah, they're sold out.
They're out.
Sold out.
Sold
Yeah.
out.
Sold it. I saw
Jeff,
it on,
you guys
on
are sold
Facebook.
out.
I
Let you
saw
know.
it yesterday on Facebook, or maybe
Yeah.
today.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
we
it
put one
happened a
out,
few
yeah.
days ago.
Yeah. That's
So-
good. That's great. I mean,
It's awesome. It's such a good event. Jeff's so nice to have us out there,
Yep.
at least the past few years. And
Yeah, it's
You know,
a
'cause
great
we-
time.
I mean, obviously, it's
Those
so
guys
cool.
do it right too, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody seems to
They know
love
what's
their
going on.
love that festival. It's, I mean,
Yeah.
from what I hear, I haven't been to a bunch of them, but
Have you been to that one?
oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
it's the best.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
they're
the
great.
best in the area.
we'll be doing this there.
Okay.
We're gonna
so
have a
great.
little area
Well, we'll
there.
stop by the tent.
Yeah, so
Well,
we
we'll
just try
have
to get
the,
as many people as we can over.
We got
The
that. I wanna-
instigator will be here.
Oh, he's coming on. What's that guy's name?
You get him on
He's not
there.
coming on.
Yeah.
Not tonight. Maybe tomorrow or
Yeah,
this
you're
weekend.
right.
Yeah.
Listen, we'll bring him on,
His name's Justin.
but we'll fuck
I
up
knew
his
you were
mic.
listening.
Yeah, just turn his mic down.
Yeah.
We'll be like, hey, oh, I'm sorry, dude, I can't hear you. I don't know what's going on. We'll see
Can
you
I see
later.
that?
all I heard.
Yeah.
Can I see that one? This is the pale ale,
That's the American
left
Pale
hand
Ale.
monkey wrench. So,
One thing you need is a left-handed monkey wrench.
what do you, I mean? I'm just kind of curious because I'd be wondering how to do it myself. If you ever start home brewing or brewing on this type of scale, how do you come up with the names and labels? What goes into that?
Well, that's the best part of brewing, I think. Is coming up with the name. So
Drinking.
yeah, that
Just like hear a song or something on the
Yeah,
way to
that-
work or
that's
whatever.
like-
That's a dead lyric
yeah.
right
So
there.
Okay.
we're big deadheads. So that's kind of the common thread too.
I have zero dead experience.
Yeah.
Well, we
just
can turn
do
you
not-
on. We turn you out. We can drop you out if you want.
But yeah, no. Usually there's dead playing, or as kind of talking about some live albums and stuff like that.
I heard the mayonnaise.
Everything is live.
I caught
so-
that.
Yeah, but
I feel like I hear dead in the background now.
We are on the same stage after Dylan. Good luck with that.
Bob Dylan.
Wait a second. Wait a second. Time out.
Dylan
We
McKay.
have to follow freaking Dylan Zangwell?
I guess so.
Whoa, he's a friend.
Yeah.
Come on.
We got no shot at following that kid.
I know he can't have the closer opening.
That's tough.
Dude,
You
put
know?
him on after us. Dude, that sucks.
The guy
I
won
can't
over
fuck- God.
Well, he's
Simon
a great
Cowell.
kid.
Yeah,
My
for
man.
sure.
That kid's got some talent.
He won
My
over
man
yeah,
got robbed
Yeah, he
for
did.
sure.
because
Yep.
there were some people that made it that
Yeah,
It's all about
That's how it
Facebook
goes.
or
Guess what?
social media.
yeah. How many followers?
I
he
had
has.
He'll do just fine. He's a great
That
kid.
photo.
he's going to be great.
yeah,
he's
for sure.
he's got
He's a good kid. I'm
a
friends
whole
with his father.
future.
He's
He's
a
got
great
a
kid.
whole future with. I was talking with his father, and I told him, "You guys are going to have trouble because you're still alive. Your wife is still
Right.
alive. Nobody has cancer. Nobody's dying.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
No
not gonna-
hardship,
You're going to
right?
have a tough
Yeah.
time on the show. You gotta have-
2021. Yeah. They didn't give you the horror story.
You should have hit the wife.
Your dad's
Yeah.
handsome. He's got long hair and he's fucking owns a
He's
brewery.
got a brewery. Yeah. Yeah. No, we love Dylan. I think Dylan's
Yeah,
so
he's the
talented.
best.
Dylan's fantastic.
Great.
One of the first live podcasts that we did
Yeah, was there.
was at Stolen Sun.
Dylan in the
And
background
Dylan's in the background just riffing on a
Wailing.
piano
wailing. We're just like, dude,
for like
he is-
45 minutes. I'm
that's
like,
your kid?
Yeah.
and this
That's
was
amazing.
3 years ago. He had to be like 11.
Yeah.
That's that little tiny.
That's
piece of shit
incredible.
piano, yeah, too.
Yeah.
You want to get into to our topic of the week?
Yeah, let's get into our live
You have
albums.
a button
He
or
tried,
anything
to,
you
he
wanna
tried
do?
to give you a
I know. He tried to segue.
segue.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
He's a
I'll
better
help you out.
broadcaster than me.
You're right.
Communication
He has
major,
really
man.
Good microphone.
I know. He's on it. So, Steve, do you want
Sweaty
to
balls.
give the introduction to this segment?
All right, so I don't even remember how we brought it up last week, but this will be, we'll call it like top 5. We'll come up with a catchy name and a catchy something for
Yeah.
it. But the top 5 topic this week is your top 5 favorite live albums.
Yeah.
So, not the band live.
What you got?
Not the
Yost?
band live.
Top 5 right now.
Oh, what's the live? Yeah, I remember live. My
Live.
roommate in college was all because they're
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Newark,
yeah,
right?
live.
From Newark?
What was their
Is that placenta on the
They
floor?
did the
Yeah.
lightning
The
crashes.
placenta
Yeah,
that was a big one.
To the floor.
I was a big live fan,
Yeah.
and a couple weeks ago, I was like, "Oh, let me see on YouTube if I can find any concerts from live.
Uh-huh.
So I type in live. I'm like,
Fish.
I can't type in live because I just get every other band.
Yeah.
Do I type in live? Do I?
Live.
I can't. I couldn't even type live concert because then I just got all this stuff.
Yeah.
Live.
Yeah, have you
Placenta to the
You should
floor.
have thought about that before they came up with their new band name.
Well,
Right.
don't ever Google dicks. I was trying to get my son a baseball glove.
Nah.
Make sure you put sporting goods.
Sporting goods.
Sporting goods.
That sporting goods does a lot of work in that search.
All right.
You going
Yeah.
first?
So John doesn't quite have 5.
No.
Did you get up to 3?
I've got 3, I
You
think.
got 3. All right. What do we want? Are we going to go 5 to 1?
Go ahead.
All right. So my number 5 is Frampton Comes Alive.
Ah, damn, you
That's a good
stole
one.
mine.
That's a good
That
one.
was my
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a good
Okay.
one.
I bought that from Columbia House for a penny.
For a penny. And then your next 8.
yeah, exactly.
Then the next 8 cassettes were $17.
I had 33
That was
CDs.
to Corey Cory Ross.
My mom paid him off.
Yeah. My number 4 is Alice in Chains Unplugged.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay.
Cobain.
My number 3, I almost went with Jay-Z Unplugged, but I'm going with the Jay-Z Linkin Park mashup,
Yes.
the live album.
I forgot that was live because I had
They
that
did a
thought,
live one.
and I was like, yeah,
That's a good one.
that's amazing.
Number 2, and I almost went another Unplugged. I almost went Eric Clapton Unplugged, but I'm going.
Yeah.
But I'm going Eric Clapton 24 Nights, which is a 4 CD set where he did a different band each night.
Holy
You
shit.
did your homework.
All his different bands.
Heck.
Or different band covering.
So he had a night where he was with an orchestra.
He just
He
did
had
that.
a night where he
Oh,
had
okay.
his
Different
regular
backing
5-piece band.
Okay.
He had a night with
Wow.
that was like a blues band.
All right. Wasn't like Derek and the Dominoes. It wasn't like
No,
Cream. And
that
shit
would have
like
been
that.
incredible if they.
That
oh,
one
yeah.
sucked.
that would have been cool.
My number 1, it's going to be way out there, is from Sting. It's
Sting.
called All This Time.
Okay.
Sting.
So he did an album and a DVD with it.
Stone.
He has a villa
Open for the Dead.
in Italy. Yeah, Sting. He has this freaking
Yeah, sure.
villa.
Sure.
I'm sure.
So he brought this band in to
Tantric.
record this album. And it's Chris Botti on trumpet, who, if you go to see Chris Botti, he's like $125 a ticket trumpet player down in Kimmel Hall in Philadelphia.
Okay.
He's got Nathan East on bass, who's just all these great musicians. So they gathered and they show the DVD is 2 sets, and the one shows the making of.
Okay, nice.
Well, as they're making this album, it's 9/11, like
Oh, shit.
the actual
Happening.
2001.
Live.
Yeah.
So it's them. So it starts with them just rehearsing, but then it's them reacting
Yeah. Holy shit.
and still trying. Are they going to do the concert that night? What are they going to do? Are they going to take out certain songs?
Yeah, right.
So it becomes this whole emotional attachment to it.
Yeah, for real.
But the musicianship is
Holy
just
shit.
incredible.
Well,
That's my top one.
Yeah. Sting.
That's crazy.
he did the murder and only Murders in the Hotel.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
Your podcast now.
So
They'll know it.
Okay.
here's
Mike, we've got a mic down.
Mike down. Here's what I'm going to say. And you actually took a couple of mine. Me being,
You only had 2 of them. How did I take a couple?
I know. Well, here's what I got. So me being the younger guy, I don't have like the, I never listened to I didn't grow up with Clapton like other people did and things
Comes
like that.
alive.
So for me, mine were Jay-Z Unplugged. That was one that I got that
That's
I
a
just
very good one.
I actually had the album and listened to on repeat. The other one was Alice in Chains Unplugged. That one was one where like I was actually learning guitar and playing some of those songs.
You play?
Not really.
Not well.
I have instruments that I don't play that well. Yeah, no. But down in a whole nutshell, like I would just play those jams, and then
Dude, those
Incubus,
lyrics
insane.
can just whoa.
Do you in? And then Incubus, the Morning View sessions, big Incubus fan. But that live album and session, you can actually watch it. It's online as well on YouTube and everything. Is just amazing. Like I don't know, that lead singer Brandon Boyd. Like doesn't matter if it's live or the CD or whatever. Like
he's one of those that sounds almost exactly the
Yes.
same live.
he
which
does.
is
Yeah, it's
crazy.
incredible. And it's not like the easiest singing either. So like when you see him belt it out like that and hit those notes perfectly and everything, it's just amazing. And I just love their sound. It's such a good album. But I guess what is that? 3 of them, and then you reminded me of when I thought of the Jay-Z one, I was like, what about that Jay-Z Linkin Park? But I was like, is that live? Was that live? I couldn't remember. But that was a whole experience for me, that album.
I saw that live thing they put on MTV, and I was like, this is nuts. Like, I never heard of it. It just appeared. I was like, it's crazy.
Now, I kind of think I remember like being excited for it to come out because those were like the 2 biggest things going on in music in my circle. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So very exciting stuff. You guys got anything?
Mine, what you got, man? Europe 72, I think.
I was going to say
favorite.
that. I mean,
But
so
Mario checked in. He said, I was just saying
Mario,
someone needs to comment about Sting being the murderer.
I said that
Because
you guys
he hates
didn't
dogs.
get it.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
It's that show. It's like on like Hulu. It's like only murders in the building or something like that.
Is that the one where they're all eating mushrooms?
No, that's the other one. We're gonna do that story too. But Europe 72, The Matrix 66, 69. What the heck?
Grateful
was that?
Dead?
Yeah,
So
they're great.
we listen to a lot of live music, whether it's Fish, Dead, or whatever. So, I mean, that's kind of in our wheelhouse. I have a few other albums in mind because kind of threw me a
I
bone
really like,
earlier in the week.
Oh, I didn't know anything. I like Frampton.
That's Frampton Comes Alive.
I love that. I saw him at the Melody Tent in Cape Cod when I was in college.
Frampton.
And he played. He did the voice box.
All the greatest hits.
It's got to come with the voice
Yeah.
box.
Yeah, it was like 1997. It was awesome.
And I was trying to think so everything we listen to is live, like Dead oriented, but Johnny
77.
Cash live at Folsom Prison Blues was a good
talked
one.
about that.
Rivers
Yeah.
Cerise.
I remember my dad had that album, so that was one of the first albums kind of listened to. Nirvana live at Leeds. I mean, just from that grunge kind of, just incredible. I still listen to tracks on that.
MTV Unplugged. That was a good
But
one, too.
that I remember where I was when I heard that on MTV. Like that was kind of like I mean, I was in college in '93, and
Yeah,
I was one of those.
Lots of great covers on that one.
Yeah. No, I mean just
The Bowie cover, the
musicianship
Meat
and-
Puppets cover.
Yep. Yeah, knew them as just
Man, that was good stuff.
Lake of Fire.
That was good stuff.
Some of the traditional.
I can't
songs.
imagine. Sometimes I think and put
You guys
myself
have enough
back.
beer?
Yeah, I think I'm good. But yeah, I think back about like when what it must have been like to be in that time where there was nothing else out there that sounded like that. I mean, what was the music like? And then all of a sudden something like that
And you
comes
go
out.
to
You're just
that,
like,
I mean, like
what?
Dylan live in '75, or like freaking.
Well, isn't it crazy?
Or
Like,
like
just-
How the West Was Won with Led Zeppelin. Like there's like
Yeah.
so many different ones that were live that were like
I had a Song
some
Remains the
people's
Same
sound,
was a
song
right.
live in '75 was like I mean there's so many that How the West Was Won. I mean, like there's so many different songs that
No
were-
matter what it is, I mean that's the inspiration for all these beers that we have. Like that
So,
Monkey
yeah.
Ranch.
our
It's,
beers are songs that we listen to very
nice.
much.
Grateful Dead
To wrap
song,
it
great
up.
story that we told. But just thinking about talking about Led Zeppelin, one of the beers we brewed today actually was Moon Rocks, and we canned that. So the story, and it's kind of on the label. It's I was out in
It's not about weed. That's rolled
No.
and Keith.
No.
That's rolled and whatever the heck you guys smoke.
yeah, it's
Through a
not
dab.
the Moon Rocks, but it's the Talking Heads Moon Rocks.
Yeah.
Okay,
The album. So like I was 2000 out in saw the last like I don't know I think 8 Fish shows out. So flew into Vegas and saw a bunch of shows there, and then Phoenix, and then San Diego, and LA, and then up to San Francisco. But when we flew into Las Vegas, we got a rental car, and all it had, and this was 2000, so all it had was a cassette deck, but we didn't bring any cassettes with us.
Yep.
So we were going to drive from Vegas, basically
Yeah.
to Phoenix.
Yep.
Right? I don't know. That's like 3, 4, 5 hours.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I did it in like 2.5 on speed.
I know it's across the Hoover Dam and all that kind of shit,
Right.
but so we stopped at
Just lying.
to fill up right outside of Vegas, and somebody gave us like a Widespread Panic live CD or live cassette, which the people I was with, they like threw it in the trash, and then Physical Graffiti, and then Moon Rocks, like Talking Heads. I don't know what I think it's Moon Rocks is the name.
Yep.
And so we listened to that like for the next like 8 days solid, like
Nice,
that. And I remember driving from Physical Graffiti, listening to that, going from the show in LA all the way up to San Francisco overnight. And I don't know, we're doing some drugs, and I wasn't driving that night, so that was my night not to drive. And like there's a ton of construction, so they had the flashing construction signs.
Yeah, right. Yep.
So with the drugs that were taking,
Yeah, you're just like
at
What?
from like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning after the show let out till we got into San Francisco at like 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. Like that was just, I think we were going up the 1 or whatever
Yeah.
goes up the main highway from LA to San Francisco. But that was like permanently scarred. But Moon Rocks and the description's also on our label. That was permanently scarred as well because we listened to that.
Yeah.
Because we only had 2 tapes
right.
the whole time. We listened to
Auto
like,
reverse
for that,
was
like,
awesome.
Crazy now.
Yeah.
And then like
Yeah.
once you
Dude,
I'm
remember
sure
we were
there's
just
no Bluetooth
driving,
or
and you're like, hold on, wait, it's gonna flip over.
yeah.
right. Yeah.
That was auto reverse.
Yeah.
You're just driving the car, like, hold on,
for it.
the tape came then, and it's like
Yeah.
in here.
The auto reverse was awesome.
That
Or
was fucking the
auto
best.
flip or whatever. That
Yeah,
was
what, you had to take it out.
Yeah.
It was like fucking it. The thing flipped over by itself.
Yeah, technology.
And it's crazy now. Anytime you hear those songs, you're just going to go back to that road trip.
Pretty much.
It's going to take you
Yeah.
right back there.
It was funny today, actually. We're brewing, and Justin was playing some Yes songs. And I was like, man, again,
Come
I'm going to get myself in trouble. I'm like, man, my sophomore year in college, these guys from New Paltz I knew, they're music majors, lived across the hallway in the dorm. All we did was smoke dope and eat mushrooms and listen to Yes.
Yeah,
So-
right.
That sounds about right.
So he was playing Yes,
Come
and the
sail
one song
away.
that I was like, dude, we always this song like I is permanently
Yeah.
scarred in my. He played it and like I got goosebumps and like the hairs of my arms stood up. It's like
Transported
such a reflexive kind
When he
of
says
it's
mushrooms,
crazy.
he means like portobellos.
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Shit.
Mud water,
Shiitake.
Yeah.
mud water,
Yeah.
yeah, mud water.
I mean, what the fuck are you thinking?
Next week's topic is top 5 mushrooms.
Hen of the woods.
What do you think? You ready for it?
Hit it.
Let's do toast.
White Bee Brews presents the toast of the week.
What do you think? I'm going to go first.
Do it.
My toast of the week, one is a good buddy of ours, East Branch Brewing. They did a 4-year anniversary, I think,
Yes.
this week. So shout out to those guys. Keep up the good work.
Great beer. We
serve
serve
it
it at Suburban.
Yeah, great people. Cheers to you guys. And part 2 is Kevin Kinderman. Toast to Kevin Kinderman for giving me Eagles tickets for the weekend. So
That's a good.
going to see the
That's
birds.
a good get.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, good for them.
Toast to
Shout
Kevin.
out to Kevin
Hopefully
Kinderman.
it's not.
I think we should
Dallas
do-
Cowboys again.
We don't talk about that. I think we should do an episode of just Kev giving him he doesn't drink craft beer at all. Just
Yeah, we
giving
should
him the craziest shit.
To
we
Miller
can.
Light Kev. This is for
To
you.
Bud Light Lime Kev.
Bud Light Lime
oh
Kev.
limers.
Just give it up.
What would
But
we
like-
give them? Like just Bourbon County,
Bourbon
followed by
County,
like
just the craziest Flemish red we can find. Just some like the
Give,
the hoppiest.
Imperial stout.
I need to find like a pallet wrecker from back in the day that was like
Yeah.
123 IBUs and just kill them.
Talking about that too today.
Yeah.
West Green Flash Palette Record. We were just talking
Yeah.
about that.
Back when it was the IBU wars.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We gotta
Bitters.
just as bitter as we can make it.
Rip the enamel off your teeth.
Extra special beer.
But you guys have anything?
You're up, man.
What's my
Toast.
You
Toast.
got
got anything
toast
you
for
can
anything?
toast?
Toast yourself.
Oh,
Toast.
I didn't know what we're doing to toast to, but here we
Toast
Yeah,
go.
just toast to
Whatever.
anything. If you
Good
got anything
toast
you
or
want to
bad
say.
toast?
Hey, toast.
Like fuck the Phillies.
Oh, there's a good one.
Yeah, good or bad.
Screw you guys.
Toast to you people out there, out in suburbia.
Toast to the listeners.
Toast to you. Fuckers.
Cheers, guys. Everybody
Yeah.
that's watching and listening, we appreciate you. Cheers.
Cheers. To suburbia.
Nice soundbite.
Good sounds.
You hear that? We really toasted.
No plastic cups.
My toast is to Ted Lasso. If you haven't been watching Ted Lasso,
Everybody
start
keeps
watching
talking
it.
about that.
The last
So
episode was the
good.
best episode of TV I've seen in a good, I think, since the last good Mandalorian.
Yeah.
No kid.
And it was
It
just
was-
such a great episode.
Well, Sting did it. I already was on the set from that open hotel.
Get out of here, man.
So toast to Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso. Cheers.
What's Stingy? What's he eat?
Somebody
What do you
got
cook
it.
up for
He
him,
understands
chef?
it. Tell me.
Mario.
Probably tofu or
Mario must have got it.
It's,
Mario understood.
Yeah.
Mario Battelli.
Sting, Sting stuff.
Yeah, he's in the chat.
I think he's canceled.
Well, now we're officially
Didn't
drunk.
Didn't they cancel Mario Batali?
I don't know.
He said something that was.
Did he?
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, I think he's canceled.
Oh,
He talked about his big fat hairy toe.
I know.
Corey, did you go?
for a toast?
Oh, toast.
I'm gonna say fuck the Phillies.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
is
there.
just
Thanks.
about over.
finally
Pissing
put
in
us
my
out of our
Cheerios.
misery.
God damn it.
Lose games to the Orioles, the
Yeah.
Diamondbacks,
The Orioles,
the
the worst.
Marlins, the Pirates.
I was at
Deserve
the
it.
Pirates.
Deserve it.
It's
That
rough.
sucked.
You're gonna get swept by the Marlins this weekend.
Well, guys,
They're done.
Eric, Corey, I can't thank you guys enough for bringing us here, letting us hang out in your space and getting to know you and just giving us the whole story. You know, I think the beer is obviously fantastic. All the beers that we've had are great. You guys are killing it there. But I think being able to actually learn your guys' story, get the background, builds a much bigger experience to the beer and what people can expect here. So I'm really excited for you guys. Keep up the good work. Thank you again for letting us do this.
Hey, man. Thanks for having
Yeah.
us, man.
Thanks.
Yeah,
cheers
absolutely.
to you guys. I
Thanks
mean,
for
really.
thinking about Suburban.
Cheers to
Yeah,
you guys.
thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks
Thanks,
for letting us kind of get our voice out there.
And if you're around on Saturday, come by and see us at the Kennett Brew Fest. Evidently, we're following Dylan Zangwell for
Yeah, for whatever reason, but whatever, we'll do our best. But yeah, come say hi, be on the show. We'll cut something together for a Brewfest episode. If you're watching right now, this episode will be out everywhere. You can find podcasts tomorrow morning. If you're already listening to it, then you found it. If you're listening to this
Congrats.
now, here in the future, and you
We
figured it out.
love you. Thank you.
But guys, everybody
Drink
watching, everybody
beer.
listening, thank you
Beer,
guys so
beer.
much.
Suburban beer. Suburban beer.
322
Suburban
Tap
beer.
Room. Look it up
Suburban beer.
online. Find it on Facebook,
Suburban
Instagram. Make sure you're following them so you can keep up on all the releases, all the stuff going on. The food's amazing. The beer's amazing. Come check this place out and spend some time here. Again, you guys for joining us and everybody watching. Thank you so much. Have a good night, and we'll see you next time.